Good afternoon, traders. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're from. Hope you're all well. Welcome to the live stream. It's the first one of the week, so I hope you all had a nice weekend. Hope you're having a good trading week so far, and hope Trump isn't messing your trades up too much. So yeah, hope you're all good, guys. We are with you for 45 minutes. When I say we, I mean me. And we are going to do the following, guys, right? We're going to look at a trade that I took yesterday, right? Pound US dollar sell trade. We are also going to take as many of your trading questions as possible. So please don't be shy, guys. Come say hello, leave a question, or just come say hello if you like. So we're going to do that. And then we're also going to do something slightly different this week, guys, right? We are going to look at a few questions from our trading community. So we're going to take a look at those. Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. So let's see who is in the house so far. So hi, Brett. Hi, Dan. How's it going? Okay, and Daniel is also short pound US dollar. So let's start with that trade, guys. Just so we can understand it, so we can learn from it. But basically, everything I show you is price action, right? I don't try to overcomplicate my trading. I don't try to undersell it, oversell it. It's just dealing with facts on a chart. Right? And that's exactly what we did. And also what I'm using right now, guys, is only the price action pro indicator that we've used, right? So this is a price action pro indicator trade based on price action and how I trade, right? That is how we are rolling for October. So we're going to show you this trade, guys. Let me just have a quick sip of coffee from my Liverpool mug. I'm a Liverpool fan. Don't hold it against me. We've got Man United at the weekend. So, yeah, big game. Now, all we're going to do, guys, firstly, I'm going to show you from the indicator standpoint, and then I'm going to show you from how I read price action. So the indicator is as simple as this. You don't need to come away from the H4, right? You see in the top right-hand corner that the daily is bearish, so it gives you daily direction, okay? And then what we're looking for, guys, right, is a downtrend, a retrace to our smart river. We want our smart river to be red, okay, which it is. And then we want a nice big bearish candle with room to move into. Okay, and this is exactly what we got. And basically, we're looking for a minimum of 1:1. Okay, and again, that's exactly what we got. So simple with the indicator, right? Even if you're not, bang on or up to speed with your price action, this will help you guys, right? And we started entering here, as you can see on the trade, stop loss here, took some profit here, good trade. So with the indicator so far this month, I am up 2%, and that is the only trades I've been taken. So we've had 4 trades, 2 were break even and 2 were in profit. Now, some of the other guys did take US dollar Canadian long as well. So some of the other guys are up 3% for this month using the indicator. Now, those of you who don't have the indicator, right, this is what we're looking at, right? You want to see trend on the daily in a downtrend, right? And that's what we saw, right? We're getting lower highs, lower lows. We're in a downtrend, right? Don't overcomplicate things. We're in a downtrend. We're looking for sells. Okay. We had this big bearish candle, and then we had this candle on Friday retraced to a really nice level of resistance. What was once support becomes resistance. And I say this every week, but there is no better setup, right? Break and retest. Yeah, what was support becomes resistance, or what was resistance becomes support, right? That is a bloody wonderful setup, right? It's more beautiful than Gal Gadot. And I haven't mentioned Gal for a while. I apologize, Mrs. Gadot. I haven't forgotten you. So daily's in a downtrend. We're at a nice area to look for trades. And then as I explained on the H4, right, we got our setup, right, H4 downtrend, retrace, sellers are in control, take it back down to the lows. It was a little bit helped along with news, but so be it. We will take that trade. So yeah, that's the trade we've taken this week. I can see some other people in the live stream have taken this trade. So Daniel took the trade, and Daniel has now trailing the stop for 50%. So basically what Daniel has done, those of you are thinking, what is Daniel talking about? He's got profit here, profits come down. He's closed 50% of the trade, and he's just going to trail his stop loss, I'm assuming above the last swing highs. And as price does this, you can just keep that 50% going, right? Just keep trailing your stop down, again, according to price action. Yeah, so Daniel took that. Bass, hi, Bass, how are you, mate? Bass, we're going to look at your question in just a minute. Emmy, how are you? Neil, Neil, appreciate your input on the in the Discord earlier. Andre, we've got a 5K challenge with your name on, but you haven't messaged me yet, so come do that in the Discord. Luigi, hi. Okay, Dan's talking a little bit of football fantasy here. I've took Fernandez off for this game. Good choice. Yeah, I haven't picked my team yet, but top secret, my football fantasy team. Yeah, Brett's saying here, US dollar CAD buy was also another winning trade. Rodrigo, hi. Tony, how are you, mate? Path or Darth Vader, as he's known to his friends. Pound US dollar. Andre asked, did you wait until the candle closed on pound US dollar? Yes, I did. Yeah, I waited for this candle to close to show me sellers were in control, right? I need to see that, okay? Sometimes I will enter aggressively, but not when using the indicator. So yeah, we wait for the candle to form. Okay, Daniel wants us to look at US dollar Swiss franc as well, and CJ afternoon, month, starting week. Yes, we're having a good start so far. Okay, and just to comment here, so Lee, hi Tom, I've had a frustrating experience with my broker today, and although it is being resolved in my favor, it ruined my mood, so no more trading today. I'm watching while having a vodka in hand. Not a bad result. That seems like a win-win, Lee. And also, Lee, look, if you are looking for a broker, we've got some recommended brokers and some great promotions. We've got Pepperstone, as you can see, and we'll talk about that later. Right, let's look at this. I wanted to show you this on our Discord. We've got a couple of questions come through, and I thought this would be interesting to look at today. So shout out to Bass in the VIP. So he talks about how the ocean and fisherman analogy and how that represents price action. So it's a good read. If you want to read it, guys, come join the Discord. Now, it boiled down and it finally come to these questions. So we're going to look at these questions together. And I would say these questions are different depending on what kind of trader you are, right? And I say this from two perspectives, right? You could be a more fundamental trader than you are a technical trader, or vice versa. right? I'm much more of a technical trader, as you probably know by now. Also, it would depend on your time frame. All right, so let me explain, right? So first of all, let's just go for question number one. So number one is, do you see Trump as a season or just a storm? Okay. Is it an off season for swing traders? So what do you think, guys? Do you think, Trump is just a storm, or it's here to stay and we can expect this crazy volatility all the time? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Now, for me, right, I've been trading for, about 17 years now. I know I don't look old enough. I started when I was 1. I didn't, right? But so my point here is, guys, there has been Trumps before. Maybe not as bad as Trump, but there is always something going on geopolitically or macroeconomically. Always has been and always will be, right? So in that respect, it is a storm, right? It will pass, okay? And he's only got 4 years in term, right? Which you're thinking, Christ, another 3 years of this. But if it's not him, it'll be someone else, right? And there's always something going on. So there's always something that will come out of left field and move the markets. And you can't really plan for it, right? He said those comments on Friday. You remember about the new tariffs on China? That come out of left field. And sometimes you're going to be on the right side of those trades. And you're going to be, thank you, Mr. Trump. Other times you're going to be on the wrong side of those comments and you're going to be like, Trump is an arsehole, he's against me, right? Now, it doesn't matter. You can't plan for that. It's not planned news, right? It's not like CPI or interest rates coming out. It's just going to happen. But one thing and it's all happened before. The one thing I would say about Trump is the frequency of these comments that he makes. And he's so, what's the right word? He's so frequent and he's so lively on social media. He's got his own social media thing, hasn't he? And he's always making comments. I think he forgets that he's like the leader of the free world. And he can single-handedly manipulate any chart he wanted, right? I would love to be a Trump right-hand man and do loads of inside trading. Because on one of his comments, if you know he's going to say about tariffs on China, then before I say, wait, Donald, give me a minute, let me just start selling the NASDAQ, right? You know it's going to plummet. So, yeah, it's a funny one. And another thing, when I talked about, how this can impact different people, is if you are a swing trader, right, I would say you are more susceptible to macroeconomic and geopolitical news, right? Because, if you're buying euro, US dollar, and you want to hold on to it for, you're going to hold on to it for weeks, if not months, then you're more susceptible to Trump or macroeconomic or geopolitical news. Whereas an intraday trader like myself, I'm more in and out and less susceptible to it. Right? So, yeah, that's what I think about Trump, and that's what I think about what's happening right now. So for me, it's just a storm. And now and again, you're going to be on the wrong side of that storm because you don't know it's coming. But yeah, like you say, it's not going anywhere, and he's got another 4 years in office. So yeah, Daniel says he's here to stay, unfortunately. Yeah, he might be. Luigi, Trump loves Friday evening comments. Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think he thinks he can get away with it. It's like it's Friday, the markets will close later. Say what I like. Right. Okay. So Daniel's saying people do trade off his comments. So he does and they do. That Bitcoin sells 30 minutes before his tweet. Okay. Interesting. Right. I haven't really seen that. But, yeah, trading off of Trump's comments would almost be a strategy, right? If you knew they were coming out, it'd be a very good strategy. Yeah, so, okay. And then Lee here's put, if the government shutdown isn't resolved by the 15th of October, that will mean the armed services won't get paid. It will do his midterms no favours. Thankfully, let's hope someone sensible takes over. Yes, I can't see it happening, Lee. I think he's there to stay for at least his term. Let's see. Yeah, and agree with that. Yeah, he is consistently inconsistent. It seems like only a few weeks ago, the US and China became a bit more pally, right? After the initial shocks of tariffs, everyone was like, oh no, tariffs are all right. We'll do this, we'll do that. Trump was going to meet Xi Jinping, and you thought, oh, this is nice. And then you get a comment like Friday and everything's up in the air again. We call it the taco strategy. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, just then, because of this, so the next question is, are there periods of policymakers like the ECB or Fed long-term strategies overlap and create an unpredictable weather? I think that's already been answered. There's always going to be policymakers making policies, right? And you need to navigate that. So again, that depends on if you're short-term, long-term trader, you're more susceptible to that. And then, have you seen below average, and good years? Do you find the market behavior is less or more predictable? Or is it all just noise our mind wants to make sense of? So, another interesting question, guys. So a lot of you will disagree with me, and I know a lot of fundamental traders will disagree with me. But for me, it's just a load of noise, right? It really is. I understand that fundamentals drive markets, right? Of course they do. That's what's making gold fly to all-time levels, right? It's a flight to safety. Because of all the uncertainty in countries, a lot of central banks are buying gold. It's like the perfect storm for gold to buy it, right? I get that. That's all fundamental. Okay. If pound US dollar starts flying up on the back of, the Bank of England increasing interest rates, right? I get it. It's fundamental. It moves the markets. But I don't see my job as trying to make sense of all that. That will always go on, right? Now, if, or this recent one with Japan, right? The new elected prime minister, she's very pro-business. She even hinted towards decreasing interest rates, which led to a super weak yen. And we got those massive gap ups, right? I understand fundamentals to a point, and I understand they move the markets. But I'm not in the business of predicting the future, right? For me, understanding fundamentals is predicting the future. I'll be like, right, Japan has a very pro-business. They're not on about increasing interest rates, right? So the yen should be weak. I'm looking at pound yen, but then we've got the Bank of England. They want to increase interest rates, so that should make for a strong pound. I want to buy pound yen, right? There would be some logical, fundamental way of thinking of it. And yes, that would make sense, but it's not going to help me buy pound yen, right? So, if we look at gold right now, right? if we look at gold and we go to the daily, it doesn't matter how much I like gold fundamentally, it's never given me an entry from a technical standpoint, right? You know, do you really want to start buying it up here? No, you don't. So my technical trading says I have to wait for a retrace, then potentially I could look for buys. And that makes more sense to me than predicting the future of gold, right? So I understand fundamentals, they drive the markets, but it's technical analysis that lets you get in on a trade, right? Because if I said to you guys now, right, why don't you fundamentally pound yen is really strong, why don't you buy it? You'll be like, okay, where do I buy it? What price? Where do I put my stop loss? Where do I put my target? Right? So, you know, of course you need to understand technicals. And, you know, they are the blueprint of where to trade from. Right? You know, and again, with fundamentals, right? I'm not slacking off fundamentals. There's lots of good traders make lots of money using fundamentals. And if you do, great. And if you use a mixture of fundamentals and technicals, great. If you use only technicals, great. Right? It doesn't matter as long as you make profit each month. Right? You could use a moving average crossover. I don't care as long as you make money. Right? But really, fundamentals drive the market and technicals just tell you where you can trade from, right? So, yeah, Trump fundamentals is a lot of noise for me, really. Because if you know, so pound yen is in an uptrend, right? So we know pound is stronger than yen. Right. And if you do delve a little bit deeper, like I said, yen had the prime minister, the pound is potentially, they spoke about increasing interest rates, right? So we know why it is, but because of that, it's in an uptrend. So we want to buy it anyway. Yeah. The fundamentals make pound yen a daily uptrend. So you buy it. Anyway, there we go. So Bas, thank you for your questions today. Yeah, interesting conversation. Let's see what else. I say conversation, it's more of a me ranting at you, but yeah, let's see what anyone else thinks. Yeah, another good point, Daniel. Most of it is priced in, right? The new prime minister with the yen, the potential interest rate increase with pound, it's all priced in. Right, the markets see that news and it's all priced in. People have already reacted to that news, right? Yeah, so very true. Creative murals and portraits. So it pissed me off. It opened old scars from when I was learning, and I felt bad for others unaware, people losing everything. But yet my discipline now gets to go on a shopping spree. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's something slightly different. But yeah, if patience and discipline wins the day. Simple as that. If I had to put trading into a very simple strategy, into a very simple sentence, yeah, discipline and patience wins the day. That's it, right? All right, guys, so let's take a look at a few trade ideas now. So Darth Vader wants to look at pound Canadian dollar, so we can do that. And also, let's have a look at this comment from John. John, it's taken me a long time to develop the patience to wait for the pullback. Yes. Yeah. So let's just look at this quickly, actually. So, just from a, exercise book answer, right? So if you trade a market and it does this, like gold, right? That's gold right now. It's having very little pullback, okay? Then You get lots of charts will look like this. It will look scruffy, right? It won't look quite like that. It will be doing this, right? Something like that, right? It never looks like that, does it? Or rarely. Okay. Now, this market here is very easy, not very easy to trade. I hate saying that, but it's easier to trade than this market, because this market never represents value, right? There's no, a pullback by definition means a pullback into a cheaper price. And that's what you have to wait for, right? So anywhere in here, it's not an exact science, but somewhere in there, somewhere in there, somewhere in there, somewhere in here, somewhere in there, somewhere in here, right? You're never going to pick the bottom. So stop worrying about that. You're not going to pick the bottom. But what you do need to do is get in these positions. These are all value, right? And that's where you want to trade from. So many traders do this, right? So let's get rid of this one over here. So many traders do this. And maybe you can relate, John. So they see an uptrend, right? And it gets to about here, and they're like, shit, FOMO, the market's leaving without me. I'm buying now before, otherwise I'm missing this great trade. I really like it for buys. Everything's in an uptrend. I don't want to miss it. I'm going to start buying here, right? Like typical mistake of lots of new traders, right? But the market will do this. It will come down here. It will, you'll see some candles, perhaps a little bit of a range, and then you'll see a big bullish candle. That's where we start buying, right? Because firstly, you're getting in at a cheaper price, right? Secondly, you've already got a target, which is the last high, right? And you've got a nice, if you start buying in here, you can put your stop loss below the last swing low, right? And you can still get at least 1:1 here. So it's so much easier to trade a retrace than a breakout trade, right? So yeah, trade the retrace. It represents value. It's easier to place stop loss. You've got a clearly defined target, which is the last high or the last low. It's a no-brainer for me trading the retrace, right? And, this is why we created this indicator, guys. You can see here, right? The prime trading levels are when it retraces. Look, the first chart I looked at, this is no coincidence. Price comes down, it retraces into the river, nice pullback. We can take price back down to these lows, if not further, right? And it's exactly the same as what I did with pound US dollar, right? Trade from the pullback, right? Price is coming down. We get a retrace into our smart river. We take it lower, right? So yeah, trade from the retrace. Right, we've got a couple of people wanting to look at CAD pairs. So we've got pound Canadian dollar and euro Canadian dollar. I keep just seeing loads of good comments, guys, so I've got to keep bringing them up. So here, yeah, patience is your only weapon in the markets. No strategy can work without it. Amen. Power to the people. Yeah, totally agree. Andre's got a question here. Do you trade the retrace often against the H4 or daily trend, Tom? So, Andre, I am always with daily trend, and I trace the retrace on the H4. So I just want to be with daily trend, and then I retrace, and then I wait for the retrace on the H4. So just like pound US dollar, right? Our indicator, bearish, we want to sell it. We wait for a pullback to our smart river. We start selling, right? That's it. Right, let's have a look at pound Canadian dollar. Let's have a look at a few trades now, right? Before we, Christ, where has the time gone? I have been nattering like something that natters a lot, like a parrot. Guys, before we look at some trades, if I could please ask you to look above my head at this beautiful thing the editor created. So if you start in the top left, guys, if you please check out our website, www.simply-forex.com. On there, you will get access, you will get access to all of our premium trading education, including the Simply Forex course, including the mentorship program where I coach you one-on-one, including the VIP Academy, and including our new Price Action Pro indicator, which I've just shown you today as well. Go check it out. There must be something in there for you. Also, guys, please come join our trading community, right? If you like the questions from the community you saw today and you want to get involved in trading conversations, share your trades, then please come join our free Discord channel. It's free. Come join. You'll also get 50% off the course right now when you join, and we'll give you a code. All right, you've got 2 weeks to use it if you want to. And finally, guys, if you check out above my head, Pepperstone, a world-class leading broker, if you switch brokers and sign up with them today using our link, we will give you free access to our VIP Trading Academy, and we'll give you a free Essential Trading View subscription. Everyone's really happy with Pepperstone, so go check it out. Right, pound Canadian dollar. I've done enough nattering. Let's have a look at pound Canadian dollar. Right. So, as you can see on the weekly chart, I normally start, let's do it exactly how I do it, actually, right? I normally start with the daily, okay? And then I go to the weekly if I like the daily. But day is king. I want to be with daily trend. And as you can see, we've got a couple of things telling us we can buy, right? The first one is this. We are in an uptrend, right? You know, we're getting higher highs, we're getting higher lows, right? We're in an uptrend. We've also got this trend line, right? That is the best diagonal line I have ever drawn using the mouse. Quite proud of that. We've got this trend line. And then for the last 2 days, look at the bounce up we've had off that trend line, right? We've had super nice bullish candle, nice bullish candle, right? So the idea would be potentially to take it back up to these highs in here. I won't go any further than that because this is our first piece of resistance, right? So daily tells me I can buy this. Now, obviously, we've had a bit of worse than expected pound news today, and this is what you're seeing at the moment, right? But, you know, I cannot take today's daily candle, right? It hasn't finished forming, right? This candle could end up looking like this, right? And you'll be thinking, okay, still a buy trade, right? Right now, it doesn't look like that. Okay, but I cannot make a decision on a candle that hasn't finished forming, right? Goes without saying. So daily's a buy trade for me. And then if we go to the weekly, you know, we are hitting a weekly resistance level, right? Hit it once, reacted, hit it again, reacted, hit it again, reacted. Okay. So, you know, there is an element of can we keep pushing our luck and taking it up to this resistance level? But the answer is yes. As long as daily structure doesn't break down, then we're still in that daily uptrend. We still have room up to this level, right? And look at last week's candle. That's bullish. And then last week's candle, we've got a nice wick rejection. So yeah, everything's telling me to buy pound Canadian dollar. And it's actually one of my trade ideas that I put in the free Discord. So please come join, guys, right? I put my trades in there. So what we want to know now is on the H4, you know, could we trade it now? And the answer is yes, right? That this is at a very interesting level right now, right? Price is coming down and now it's building up, right? It's now in a H4 uptrend. We're getting higher highs, higher lows, right? And these lows are holding. Again, guys, you can just tell by looking at our indicator. Our indicator is green, indicating an uptrend. The daily trend is in an uptrend, as I explained. So if we get a nice bullish candle, it's looking like this probably won't be a nice bullish candle, right? We've only got 25 minutes left until this finishes forming. But if we get a nice big bullish candle come out of this level, something like this, then absolutely we can take price back up to these highs, if not further. But that is only if this level holds, right? If we start seeing a big H4 candle that breaks that low, the indicator will turn red and H4 will be in a downtrend. And I would not be interested in buying that. So path right now is an interesting level. Let's wait and see if we get some buyers enter the market. If we do, I think we've got a nice buy trade there. So yeah, hope that helps. Hi, Mr. Billionaire. I love his name. I'm going to have some more coffee. Who else have we got in? Yeah, so Bass, thank you. Thank you for sharing that piece in the Discord. Euro Canadian dollar. Okay, so let's have a look at Euro Canadian dollar as well. Where are we? And also, guys, when you're looking at Canadian dollar pairs, you know, like you look at the dollar index when you're trading the majors, right? Look at oil, right? Because oil is highly correlated with Canadian dollar. If oil is doing this, which it is, Canadian dollar is weak. If oil is doing this, Canadian dollar is strong, right? There is a direct correlation there. And, you know, look at it, right? It's super bearish. And again, this is one of my trade ideas. You know, I still think we have room down to this 57 level, right? I'm waiting for a pullback that may never come. If it doesn't come, I don't care, right? So, yeah, so oil is bearish. So that is also leading me to believe, right? Well, not believe. I don't like using those words. That is also giving me more detailed facts that I can buy pound Canadian dollar, right? So let's have a look at EuroCAD, see if this is a similar picture. Now, this is a really tricky one, right? Has that low here held, right? And it's so close that on some brokers, it will have just held. On other brokers, it wouldn't have held, right? So that's quite a big thing to consider, right? Now, yeah, it will depend from broker to broker, that one, right? But we are in this, okay? Now, if that low's broken, right, then I'm looking for a retrace into here and to sell it, okay? But there's nothing telling me to do that yet, right? Because if you look at the daily candles, they're all bullish. That's bullish. Yesterday is indecision, right? So EuroCAD is far less clear to me, right? Pound Canadian dollar is a lot clearer buy trade for me if we get the bullish H4 candles we need. Whereas EuroCAD is scruffy. So in that respect, Daniel, don't trade Euro CAD, trade pound CAD. Okay. But let's carry on this analysis because, you know, has that level broke? Let's check. So if you look at these figures up here, what I'm going to do is look at the the low, sorry, 62199 is the low. And then we're going to look at the close of this candle. 6223, okay, so no, we could say that hasn't broken that low, right? But it's too close to call, right? Let's have a look at H4. Again, H4 is in an uptrend quite clearly, right? But do I want to buy this? I just don't. You know, you can tell by all the umming and ahhing I'm doing, EuroCAD is not clear. So if EuroCAD's not clear, don't waste your time on it. Stop looking at it. Look at another pair. You know, for example, if you like Euro strength, go look at, or if you like Euro weakness or something, you know, go look at Euro Aussie dollar or Euro Swiss franc, because this Euro CAD is just not clear. So yeah, I wouldn't be trading that. Right, what else have we got here? Okay, very bold from Creative Murals and Portraits. I'm going to say this, I'm shorting gold at 4100 if it fails structure. And when you say fails structure, Creative Minds, on what time frame? Right? Because on the daily, there is, you know, you would have to really break this low for a structure break currently, right? And on the H4, there's no structure break there either, right? This is clearly, yeah, I'm just going to say that, you know, we're clearly in an uptrend. So, yeah, it takes a brave man to short gold right now. It's like in the fundamental perfect storm. Neil says nattering like Trump. Yeah, I have been. Yeah, I am blabbering away like Trump today. If only I could move the markets, that would be nice. One day, when our Discord channel is 8 million strong, we're going to move the markets one day, guys. I'll be 94, but we'll do it. Right, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button and smash that like button. It really helps support the vid, guys. Also, please go check out the website if you want access to all of our premium trading education. Please go check out and join our Discord channel and be part of our trading community. And also check out the promotion from Pepperstone. It's a beauty. All the links are in the video description, so go check them out. Nero, how very late? Emperor Nero, better late than never. Yeah, I agree. Right, Path, great analysis. Thanks, Path. I will pay you later. Too late for a question. We've got about a minute left, guys. Max, how are you, Max? Hope you're well. Okay, so Creative Murals was talking about the hourly chart on gold. Okay, so Creative Murals is going to start selling gold, I'm assuming, when it breaks this level, right? Support, still in an uptrend, support, right? Maybe if it does something like this and breaks this level. Okay. Creative Murals and Portraits, your name is too long, and please let us know how you get on with that. Yeah. The thing with that is, right, one thing I would say here is, you know, where's the room until the next support level, right? And it's there, right? So you have to ask yourself, is that enough room to trade in? It depends on your strategy, depends on your time frame, but there's lots of pips to be had there, right? You can make a nice profit in that drop, but really there's the next support level, right? So I wouldn't look any further than that just yet. But yeah, let us know how you get on with that one. Right. Okay. All right, guys. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me for the live stream, guys. Appreciate all the questions as usual. Don't forget to join me tomorrow, same time as always, 8 a.m. New York EST. Come over to me. I promise to not natter like Trump again. Unless you enjoyed it, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a great trading day.